Hi, my name is Brian Benson. Did you know that who you perceive that you're communicating with impacts how you cognitively process that encounter? How we communicate impacts the impression that we make, and who we perceive that we're communicating with impacts the degree to which we self-disclose. After researching numerous articles and going through the book multiple times, I have gained insight into the topic of communication and self. I have looked at two specific research articles that I want to share with you guys today. The first research article comes from the Journal of Broadcasting and Electronic Media. It's from May of 2020. It's titled, "When Do Online Audiences Benefit from Self-Disclosure? The Role of Shared Experience in Anticipated Interactivity." So Rachel Kornfield, the author, wants to address the problem of people are going on online spaces, and how is impression management of their self-disclosure impacted by similar reference groups, by general reference groups, as well as how does the anticipation of feedback or not also impact this. So for the study, there were about 200 undergraduate communication studies students from Northwestern University used. 80% female, the mean age was 19.9, and they were given a survey and asked to journal about a recent breakup experience that occurred in the past year, and then told that they were going to share this experience with a website that they were developing, that they were either going to share with everybody or just other people that had gone through a recent breakup experience, as well as there would either be comments enabled or comments disabled. And 2 weeks later, participants would come back and journal their post-traumatic growth and be debriefed. So the participants' journals were analyzed using the 2015 Linguistic Inquiry and Word Counting Program, and it looked for linguistic and psychological markers within their speech to kind of analyze the cognitive processing and the effective language of the participants, as well as psychological growth from their experience. And what the analysis from the program showed was that individuals who were self-disclosing to a reference group with similar experience to them, to the people with recent breakup, that these individuals benefited more from their self-disclosure, as well as used more cognitive processing language. What the researcher also found was that when individuals were anticipating feedback, they used less effective language. And kind of incidentally, what ended up happening was that there was no increase in cognitive processing or psychological growth from people that were anticipating feedback, which was contrary to the researchers' expectations. So what does this really mean for us? This means that when you're self-disclosing information, the more that you can really put the other person in your shoes and really share with them, the more you're really going to benefit from that self-disclosure than if you were just talking to them as if they weren't really going to be somebody who could understand your experience. The second research article that I want to talk to you guys about is from the Journal of Marketing in March of 2020. It's titled, "When Saying Thank You is Better Than Saying Sorry in Redressing Service Failures." So you et al. Wanted to address the research problem of how does offering appreciation differ than offering an apology in impression management when saving face in these service failure related scenarios. So the participants, there was about 5 different sub-studies. Each sub-study looked at a different aspect of consumer failure. So our airline's overbooked, we're gonna put you in the back of the airplane, it's crowded, and they were either told appreciation, sorry, or nothing at all. So the appreciation was thank you for your understanding. The apology was we're sorry about the situation, and nothing at all was they just kind of dropped the ball on them. You're going to the back of the airplane. And what the researchers found from this was when they surveyed the participants afterwards and asked them how did the appreciation work as an impression management strategies. The participants who received the appreciation felt more self-esteem, and they also felt that it was better as in redressing the failure compared to the apology condition. The apology condition, perhaps to no surprise, was better than no response at all. And the participants with low self-esteem were particularly susceptible to the appreciation strategy. In a second study, the researcher wanted to kind of manipulate and see what they could do with the self-esteem and confirm it. So they did a quick study. They took them 10 letters, and they asked them, make as many words as you can with this. And they turned around and said, you scored in the top 90th percentile. And what this accomplished was this artificially elevated the individual's self-esteem. And they wanted to see, okay, now what? So they gave them the same kind of failure, and they said, imagine yourself going to dinner with your friends, and you're told now that there's a 30-minute wait, and they were offered, thank you for your understanding, or sorry about the situation. They were given water, and then they were surveyed asking about how they felt the response affected their desire to return to that place. How did they feel about their self-esteem? How did they want to tip the server? How much did they want to tip the server? And what they found was the individuals in the previous low self-esteem category that had their self-esteem artificially inflated showed no improvement compared to the apology condition. It was the same. So this is it's just kind of interesting. It's like, okay, you know, it's self-esteem is kind of related. So both these topics, I hope that sharing them kind of has showed you about how who we think we're communicating with impacts the benefits of self-disclosure, as well as how we communicate impacts the impression that we leave behind. Thank you.